So, welcome back to part 3 of the Doppelganger Classroom. It's my second take. We've gone over the basics. We've gone over the background of where it came from. Now we're going to go a bit more in depth explaining the principles behind it. Okay? So, quick overview again. If this is the third video, no, just feel free to skip ahead. Doppelganger Classroom consists of you copying what you're already doing and then recording yourself on PowerPoint so that you now have a second teacher in the classroom, one who's doing the most difficult part of the teaching. That is, delivering the content in a way that the kids are going to listen. Half the time when we're delivering content, we're also going, John Wicks, throw that pen at that kid. Ivanovich, not throw something back. And Manson, stop gossiping, focus, eyes on me. I know you're attentively listening when your eyes are on me. And that took 30 seconds. That took time that you now need to put back into the delivery, turn back to the PowerPoint, read what you're going to teach them again, and if you're really unlucky, find out where you left off. That adds friction to the classroom. That adds time that's wasted. The Doppelganger Classroom removes all that. For someone impartial speak on classroom speakers that are loud enough to drown out the kids. Bring in your own speakers if you need to. They're going to shut down the discussion because it's so much louder than you ever could be. It is reading impartially, so the kids trying to get a rise out of you aren't going to get anything because it's a recording of you from the past. It does not care what the kids in the present are doing. It reads, and then, if you need to, you can play it all over again and again. It will get into their brains, meaning present you and focus on classroom management. You are, in other words, creating a second teacher who teach in your classroom for you, which cuts down on your stress. Now, let's get into the whys. So this came from a love of World War II educational film, which the British War Office put out by the hundreds, trying to train thousands of men on basic things that, well, they struggled to do because a lot of their stuff was captured at Dunkirk. They were struggling. A lot of men came off the work line. They had no idea what was going on. And England was fearing an invasion. They pumped out these videos to teach their basic skills. To fire a weapon, how to load a weapon, how to use camouflage, what to expect from training. Lots of little videos, some of them hours long. Teach the guys the basics. The part is, well, following along from studies that I searched university, and from my lived experience, I then back justified using research. And the first one is that most teachers teach within the front 25% of the classroom, front 25% of the physical space in the classroom. Because let's be honest here. Well, let's look at the board. Most of you are here, according to the study. Most of us are here, going back and forth, because you need to write stuff on the whiteboards. You're reading stuff off the prompt. And if you're gone, who's going to be putting up stuff? Who's going to be teaching the kids if you are not there? Right? No one. So that's why most teachers are at the front of the class. They feel like they're stuck there. Because you need to read out the slides, ask questions, write them on the board, engage the kids, move on to the next slide, keep the tempo moving. Because so much friction, you always feel like you're behind. A lot of teachers. Second, well, Doppelganger Classroom removes that. You are nowhere near the front anymore. Okay? don't need you as teaching. Present you is classroom managing. Second is that most learning in the classroom comes from a student's peers. Okay, that sounded weird to me as well. 20% is teacher direction from my memory. 20% is self work, what they do on their own. 60% is peer instruction. 60% is them talking with their peers, asking what's going on, and their peers answering them. Most work in the classroom is group work then. Okay, teacher instruction is vital, making sure they're all on the right page, moving in the right direction. But the peers are the ones helping the others along. You're getting through to maybe 20% of the kids. The rest are relying on that 20% to teach them what's going on. The class is a cooperative environment. Okay? Third, effectiveness of formative feedback. Effective feedback can influence a student's academic progress by 50 to 80% versus a control group that offered none. Okay? Using more of it effectively in the classroom vital to ensuring your students are developing to the maximum level possible. Okay? Your formative feedback, saying stuff like great work there, but maybe a bit longer. Good work here, but you're missing this part of the question. Have you tried this? Is vital. And you can't do that if you're stuck at the front of the classroom. Fourth, effective classroom management skills aren't just about building rapport with the students. Like those of you who know what CMS is, classroom management skills, the variety of little tools in a toolbox that you can apply in your classroom to help manage small behaviors before they become big ones. Now, I've said, possibly video 1 or 2, that I'm on the spectrum, okay? The autistic spectrum, DSM-5 they're calling it now. And I don't understand people, in simple terms. I've told my kids this a few times, and I don't think they fully understand it. But I do not fully understand other human beings and their emotions, what their thought processes are. Okay? Not something I am physically capable of. My brain is wired in a different way. Or in a analogy, it's like the brain is the call center and the wires to the rest of the building have been cut. So my body can process the emotional feelings, can process stuff. It can't send it because there's nothing receiving. The line's been cut. So I can feel the same emotions. I can see them, but I cannot comprehend them. Okay? So I use proximity instead. I use proximity in my classroom. I use 90% of my classroom management skills is proximity. And I can't do that if I'm at the front of the classroom. So I devolve that responsibility to the past me. I'm there patrolling my classroom, make sure that they're focusing. They're focusing. Because I'm not building rapport properly here. I use proximity. Do it instead. Okay? Fifth, students crave structure. Children crave it, so do adults. Okay? Left on a blank plane with nothing, there may be a marker. A group of humans will create structures to demark their location, to demark what is theirs, and build a society. Humans need structure. So having a timer and a set classroom procedure, as I'm about to show you, the students are given so much structure they might just pop from it. Okay? I give them so much structure that they cannot complain about not having enough. They hate my classroom. They also love it. I give them the structure that they are missing from a lot of other places in their lives. So much so that on the last day of term, on the last day of the year, students came in, their work, they sat down, they did their work. 1 or 2 of them made a complaint, and then they sat down and they did their work on the last day of the year. Like, works because the kids love structure, okay? Well, they complained at home about it, but given no one called me to complain, I'm assuming the parents had a laugh. 6. Cooperation ensures safety in the safety and accountability paradigm. Students in my class are sat in groups. Each group succeeds together or dies together. Figuratively, I'm not killing them. Students then push weaker students into working harder, trying harder, and accomplishing greater things. Higher achieving students are instructing their peers out of a necessity to succeed in their groups and developing their own understanding of result. Okay? For those of you know Vygotsky's paradigm about those who are lower in level, closer in level, pushing each other onwards and upwards, cooperative learning, this is where it applies. There is no room for individuality. Everyone is working together, pushing each other. And I want to show you later that this has results. 7th, a timer. Again, with the structure. There are timers that underpin everything in my classroom. And I do this because of advice from a new holler. He's the one who kept me in teaching when I was seriously considering leaving. Blame as much as you can on external factors and never make it personal. The timer is a neutral demarker. Okay? It is a neutral arbiter. Set the timer in my lesson, and when that 10 minutes or 15 or 5 minutes is up, I move on. Because as I tell the kids, I have not touched that timer. That timer is neutral, and that timer says it's time to move on. And the kids know they can't whinge with you. You're following the timer, the kids cannot whinge to you. And you move on, which means they then complete their work faster. Because they don't want to be left behind. They want to succeed. Okay? 8th, 10% of children in a class cause 90% of the problems. In a class of 30 children, this means 3 are causing most problems. Okay? Whether that be by calling out, starting fights, it's always roughly 10%. These are the ones you're focusing on. These are the ones that can stop the delivery of a lesson because you need to yell at them to stop throwing things around, stop leaning on chairs, stop standing up. They cause a lesson to grind to a halt. By separating instruction from management, the other 20% can still, 27 people, 90% can still learn or you classroom manage. Because if you focus on those 10%, and your lesson grinds to a halt, those 90% of other kids are going to start acting out as well. Which means your 10% escalates to 20, 30, 40, 50. By keeping it to 10%, because the others are doing things by learning, you can ensure your class full. Finally, 9th, success. Kids love to succeed. Humans love to succeed. Participation trophies work, okay? Participation trophies work because people love to succeed. And by ensuring everyone in a group is doing the work, by ensuring the work is scaffolded, by making sure all the work is accessible, you are ensuring that your classroom is full of success and the kids love it being there. Okay. 10th, scaffolding. Now, some of us might have heard how it's necessary to have multimodal delivery. Don't just read things. This accesses that. You are differentiating for the kids and all you're doing is putting in a little bit of extra effort. You have reading on the board. Then you have yourself reading it to them. Verbal and visual. You are delivering multimodal instruction for kids who are weaker, who can't perhaps read sometimes, and they can listen. Or kids who have difficulty reading, they can listen. You are delivering multimodal instruction. Few studies I've read say that a kid reading the source while the source is being read to them increases their comprehension. This is for kids with dyslexia. You're doing this for every kid. Imagine how much better it works for them, improving their literacy. Okay? So, those are the 10 underpinning lessons.